and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about running and walking and getting us in a little better shape and maybe working up to a bigger goal. My guest is Ashley Denney from Parks and Rec. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You got a long convincing here to do to talk about this, but we'll start with the crawling part. So where do you start? If you are, I am maybe a little bit of a couch potato. How do you motivate yourself? How do you get out there? Is walking, does it really make that much of a difference?
It does. And the motivation part is the biggest first step. It's hard for a lot of people, but it's really important to be active, even if you're walking around the block. Or, if you're training for a marathon. It's no matter which one you do, the benefits are the same. It's physical benefits, it's mental benefits.
Well, let's talk about that. So physical benefits, we're talking about what?
So walking and or running, just getting out and getting active. Physically, it benefits you. It helps reduce your blood pressure. It helps reduce stress. It helps with other diseases. It reduces hypertension. It reduces osteoporosis, colon cancer, other types of cancer. There's a lot of benefits. It helps moderate your blood sugar levels for diabetes. So there's a lot of physical benefits.
And those really start with walking. Like, it don't have to be. It's intimidating to me to think about doing a big race, even to think about running. Let me just be honest with you. That's a lot. That's a lot to take on.
It is.
So we start with walking, and I will say I have been doing that. I have the step tracker. I've had a couple of different ones. It motivates me to not fail. So I stay active until it says I've hit my goal for the day, and then I'm like,
and then you're good.
I get to.
And that's okay, as long as you're making some goals and making those small steps. For some people who don't walk at all, just what I said earlier, just getting up and walking around the block. Put on your tennis shoes, just spend some time outdoors. Just being outdoors as well.
That is another benefit. I think both with stress, but also health and, fresh air and outdoors changes your perspective a lot. It's hard to do here.
It does.
Because the summers are so flippin' hot and
they really
humid.
are. They really are. So if you're a morning person, get out really early before it gets hot. And if you're not a morning person, which I'm not, you can go later in the evening. Go with a friend, go with a spouse. Just find someone.
Dog, I'm telling you.
Or a dog,
because
accountability.
if I don't want to go, the dogs tell me they need to go. And it's not need to go outside because they've done that already. It's
they want to get out.
They have now this expectation that they get to walk, they get to explore, they get to exercise, and they need it. And sometimes,
it's good for them.
I do it for them.
I know.
Or maybe you do it for your kid. If you have a little kid in the
motivates
stroller.
you.
I mean, you do need to have
find that motivation. And even if you don't have those and you just know that you need it for yourself, make those small goals. Walk down to the end of the street and walk back. If you're not able to go any farther than that, that's okay, but that's where you start. And you feel so much better mentally as well. It gives you clarity. It reduces your stress, like I said, but it also helps with depression. The mental clarity, your body gets moving, the blood gets flowing, your endorphins increase, so you feel better about yourself. It's just that getting out there part that's hard.
It's so hard. Okay, so if we get walking down, let's say, I'm doing pretty good. I'm walking fairly briskly. I'm at 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. If I, and I'm saying if because I don't know that I do, wanted to take that next step toward running or jogging, how?
There are lots of different options. You can find a running group. You can find those online. You can come into our community centers. We have walking groups inside. There's a track outside near West Hampton Community Center.
And there's always people there. I love that track because you're probably never alone. There's always somebody to walk with. You feel safe. You've got somebody to talk to.
Exactly. Yes. So those are good beginning points. You can check online. We have races around the city. We have the Crawling Crab in Hampton. Newport News has a race. Obviously, some of those are for half marathons and marathons, but there's also a 5K, which is just 3 miles. And you can walk and jog, or you can walk it all. It's really up to you.
All right, they say you can walk it, but if I go out there and I don't have an excuse, like a stroller or anything, or I'm not super old, I feel like people will go, She can't.
No, there's actually a lot of people, for some of the smaller races, the 5K, the 3 miles, there's a lot of people who will walk it. There's still even people who will walk the half marathon too. But it's all about what you, but it's about what you can do and your level and you working on a goal. And so as long as you're, moving in that direction and you've got some people around you who are supportive, you can walk or run at any point of those races.
See, I always think the super fit, skinny people in the spandex will judge me.
I know, and it can be really intimidating. It really can be. But I will tell you, there's all different ages and fitness levels out at those races. And even if that's something not for you right now, work on those smaller goals. Go to the track. Go to the fitness room. Just walk. Go around the block and start working on those goals.
I will say, I think walking is the easiest and cheapest form of getting fit.
It really is.
I mean, you may need
everybody
to do
looks
more.
for the miracle drug.
Yeah.
But it really is exercise, just in any form. It does all those things. It's the mental, it's the physical, hormonal. There's so many aspects of it that just help improve your whole body in general.
Okay. You were going to talk, though, about running.
Yes. Yes, we are going to talk about running.
How do we go about it? What are those benefits? What do you need? Running, you have to be a little more careful. There's more potential for injuries. I mean,
definitely. So I would definitely say, first start off walking very regularly. If you're someone who's just learning to, get active and be active on a regular basis, get walking down on a regular walk, 4 or 5 days a week. For 30 minutes to an hour. Once you're at that point and you feel comfortable and you want to start trying to run, look up some information online. Your feet actually, you may be poor stability with your ankles. You may run on the outside of your feet. You may run on the inside of your feet. All these things can lead to injuries. So if you actually start running on a regular basis, you may actually want to look into getting the proper type of footwear.
Okay, so that is important, I think, especially if you're doing distance.
If you're going to start running miles, yes.
Yeah. If you're just jogging around your neighborhood a little bit, it's not as crucial, but you still want
Right, depending on the person, right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know that you maybe have foot problems, that you might want to actually get that extra support. Yes.
Okay, so the big race in Hampton tends to be the Crawl and Crab. We do have some other races some years, and then there's the, more fun Life's a Beach triathlon, and there's lots of things, and these can serve to motivate you, give you a little bit of a timetable.
Exactly.
Probably not me, but if you're talking to somebody else who, is a better person than I am, who wanted to make that goal, how long would it take? How would you kind of step them up to reaching a 5K kind of a goal?
Right. Well, it depends on the person. It depends on, your health level, your activity level, where you are right now. Somebody who already walks a couple of days a week, may just start increasing from there. Someone who hasn't done any activity will need to probably start at a smaller level and maybe a shorter amount of time. But everybody can build on their level where they are. There's lots of resources online. You can look for, there's different apps you can download.
I was going to say there's like a Couch to 5K kind of app.
That will tell you and kind of build your progression as you go. So, start off with maybe 10 minutes and then move to 15 and 20 minutes. And so there's other resources online. If you go to Prevention or if you go to the American Heart Association, there's a lot of websites where you can find walking and running training programs that are safe and effective for you.
And we'll remind people, if you don't have the internet or a computer at home, most of our community centers, all of our libraries have access time where you can do that research. And, if you're more comfortable with a book than the internet, you can get a book at the library that would also help give you some of those training tips.
A lot of the standards are the same over time. So only the, trends changing with the apps and all the digital media, but it's all the same as far as guidelines for increasing your exercise and reaching those goals.
And it's important, and this is, where Hampton as a city comes in, it's important for each of us in our own health, but it becomes a community health issue when we, as a community, and really it's not just Hampton, it's every community in the United States is facing this now, higher rates of obesity, higher rates of diabetes, blood pressure, I mean, all these things that contribute to cost in society and to us not being as healthy and productive, really, as we should be.
And a lot of those are environmental factors too, and those do play in. And we are working on, the bike path We're trying to, engage people and try to, increase the desire to be active in the community.
Right. So there's just to back up, there's a community input process to determine how the city of Hampton can create a plan to be more pedestrian friendly, more bicycle friendly.
Yes, and then find ways and solutions to improve those as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, I believe in walking in my neighborhood because if I had to get in a car and drive somewhere, that'd be all the time I have to exercise, and I would have blown it. But some people don't have a neighborhood that's really conducive, or they want a change of scenery. Where are some great places in Hampton to go take a walk?
Yes, there are quite a few, actually. The first ones I'm thinking of, Sandy Bottom, is a great place. They have trails, they have dog parks, so, depending on what your goals are and what your interests are too. And there's also other activities out there as well that you can learn about while you're walking.
Right.
They have walking groups out there. Buckrow Beach is a great place.
Buckrow's great, especially early in the morning when it's
for the runners,
you don't want to go when it's crowded,
but even for the walkers.
Yeah.
Yep, and it's a straight line, and you can.
Yep, the Fort Monroe Seawall is great. I see a
and that's
lot
great
of people.
Scenery.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Just along Chesapeake Avenue, is a beautiful
and
place.
Fort Monroe Community Center does the scavenger hunts, and you can actually rent a bike there, and you can do a scavenger hunt throughout Fort Monroe. That's a fun way to be active as well.
Yeah, and we found it's interesting that right now people mostly walk or ride their bike for exercise. So it's a side thing that they do. It's not integrated as much. They don't run errands. They don't commute to work that way, all those things. But I think we as a society are getting to that. And when we did the community online survey, satisfaction survey 2 years ago, people really wanted that. You know, as we age, you're not there yet, but as we age, we may not need 2 cars. We may not want to drive as much. We might really look to walk. And so you see the millennials and the baby boomers coming together on this issue.
Yes, and if you go to some larger cities, you see that where people bike to a lot of places, they walk to a lot of places. And, everything is closer and accessible. So it kind of actually guide you toward being more active in that way.
Yeah, and it's great, working downtown, you've got all those restaurants you can walk to, kind of the farthest or the super close ones, but it builds into your day.
Exactly, and it's part of your lifestyle.
Let's talk about taking the steps. It's not always easy in some of our large public buildings, but even, so I don't go from the first floor up to the 7th first thing in the morning, but I will, run down 3 or 4 flights of stairs and go back up and try to do that. Just little things that you build into your day.
Yes, and then it becomes part of your routine, part of your lifestyle. So it's those small changes that and they seem big at first, and they are big at first.
They are huge. And
but then once you
continue, really hard.
Right, and then it's just that first step, and you might have to think about it for a while. I need to take the stairs today. But then you'll get to the point where you don't even think about it, and it's just, in the afternoon when I go down to the 3rd floor, I take the stairs, and it's not even a thought anymore.
All right, what are some other motivators that people can use? Music works for a lot of people.
Yes, music, I can't work out without music. It just won't happen. So music is important. The social aspect, so sometimes having a friend there. And that can vary too. If you're both walkers and you both want to walk and that's your goal, then that's great. And like I said,
and then
runners,
if one of
they
you is
have
a
running
little bit
groups.
weak, the other one's like, come on, you don't have to have your own motivation all the time. If your dog or your friend or whatever can help you out.
So you just have to figure out what type of person you are, whether you're a walker or a runner, you want to try and be a runner. If you're a morning person or an evening person, if you're an outdoor or an indoor person, find which ways you're actually going to start and actually commit to, and then start on that path. And then from there, you might decide that you like actually running outside one day. I don't know. Not everybody's like that, especially in the heat. But
treadmill really works for some people, and that's something that we haven't talked about, whether it's at the community center. We've got a lot of equipment at most of our centers, or the Y, or you have one in your home. And then it can be your TV watching time. So instead of sitting on the couch and watching TV, you're up and moving.
Exactly. So if there's a show you like, for example, if you watch Ellen every day at 3 o'clock, and you sit at home on your couch watching Ellen, you could go into the Y or into our community center and watch that show. But in the meantime, you're walking on the treadmill or you're sitting on a bike and you're getting moving and getting active, just watching your normal TV show.
Okay. Okay, and I do want to say for people for whom this is too big of a leap, there are programs at our senior center that are more sit and be fit. You can watch Sit and Be Fit on this TV station. I mean, there are ways to keep moving even if you don't have as much mobility as
Small
somebody
steps.
else, or you need to start from a different place.
If you're in a wheelchair, there are TV programs and there are classes where those abilities can be reached with your level, and you can be active and you can feel better as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ashley. You're inspiring.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. I hope we've motivated you to get up and get out as much as you can, whether that's walking, whether you progress to jogging or running, but being outside and moving and getting those physical and emotional mental benefits from it will help so much. Thanks for watching.